It's that time, Tony. It's that time in the morning for us to give our conversation, for us to talk about what's happening in the world. But you know how I always started. This is what? This is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall
Amen.
rejoice and be glad in it, Tony.
Yeah, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.
Absolutely, my brother. Whoo! Wow, wow, wow. This world, man. First of all, I want to say this, and then we're gonna back at this because it fits into what we're talking about, right? This whole fentanyl thing, right? And the place in
Yeah.
Philly, I can't think of the name of it. I can't remember.
Kingston. Kingston.
Kingston. Man, I'm like, so this every topic touches me anyway, right? Because what we talk about is what's going on right now. So everything, of course, touches me. But I'm getting ready to hit you in the head with why this touched me even more. First and foremost, let's even go back here for a second, Tony. Did we just not have a situation in Baltimore where we had what
Yep.
30 to 45 ODs, right?
ODs.
Ah,
Yep.
off. Was that a new product or was that a product that had fentanyl in it and it just went array?
Well, someone said it was a bad batch of heroin,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was word that it was mixed with antifreeze.
What?
Antifreeze, like you put in the car, antifreeze, and several people OD'd, and it got so much attention where, I mean, it was national news, CNN,
That's
and
Baltimore, Tony. We make
yeah,
national news if
yeah,
we sneeze too hard, but that's a whole
yeah.
nother
That's true.
situation.
That's true.
I mean,
That's
they
true.
got troops get ready to come there now. Like, so pray for my city, y'all. They got troops coming, and it's get ready to be pandemonium up there. But and I know we talking about the fentanyl, but I just want to have to put this out here, Tony. People don't
Yes.
realize all of the commodities in Baltimore, right? They don't even
Right.
realize that if we are not the number one port, we are in the top three ports of transport, right? And I think of food, cars, and something else. So I will say this to the day my eyes close. That bridge wasn't an accident, Tony. Baltimore is on
Oh
the
no.
radar because of how amazing it is. It's just that we just get a bad rap. But okay, back to the drugs. Woo! Yeah, that
And the
Kingston place. Go ahead,
yeah,
sir.
and the crazy thing is that it's national. It's just not in Philly. I
Yeah.
mean, you can say Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit. I mean, all major cities have this issue with fentanyl. And it's like it's coming into this country and it's killing people left and right. And I'm talking about you don't even have to use the fentanyl. You can just touch it and die. You can smell the fumes and die. There was a young man in Baltimore, and they said he was at the table mixing the fentanyl up with heroin and ended up dying because the fumes and stuff is that strong. I had a student die from fentanyl mixed in marijuana when I worked in Baltimore. This epidemic is serious. And it's like, what are we doing about it?
Well,
Doesn't look like anything's being done.
it's funny because what I'm about to say about how and what I'm doing about it is this, Tony. We talk all the time. You my boy. Tony, my son died because they found
Mm,
fentanyl in his coke.
wow.
Now,
Wow.
I know you ain't know that, Tony. And you know what
Nah.
I'm saying? And one of the things that, of course, I'm doing is this radio station. Because even though he took his last breath like that, I want his voice not to be his last words. This radio station continues to be the voice of my firstborn, right? Now,
Right.
the story behind it is still a little controversial because, the crazy thing about it is, here, like you said, if you touch it, you smell it, or whatever the case may be. My son didn't mess with that, right? Everybody who
Right.
knew him and knew me was like, "Ma, somebody did that." And I do know who the somebody is, and that's going to come out in, a
Wow.
movie, and you know what I'm saying? But they found fentanyl, so of course his death certificate actually says heart attack cause fentanyl. So I laid the
Wow.
rest my 28-year-old, my firstborn, like I said. And so it touches me different because you're absolutely right. It's not by race. It's not a social
Mhm.
economic thing. It's not a gender thing. It's not a city or state thing.
Mhm.
It's a thing again that is used, of course, as a form of genocide. Now, I want to say this too. Let me just say this. It's still a choice because everybody who mess with it in any kind of way, unless you happen to, my son's situation, or like you said, the situation of somebody, um, being around it or whatever. If you
Right.
choose to dip and dab, I say this all the time, you playing Russian roulette, right? Um,
Absolutely.
and this is in your city, it's in the white man, the black man, the rich man, the poor man. This is not something that's just in the inner city neighborhoods everywhere.
Oh no. This is everywhere. My mother brother,
Hmm.
rest his soul, my uncle, who used to take me everywhere with him when I was a little toddler. And someone gave him something. His name was Marcella Diggs, but we call him Body. And
Hmm.
they say, yo, Body, test this. And my uncle, being who my uncle is, he sniffs it, right?
Wow.
And it was heroin. He not knowing that fentanyl is mixed. He might not even knew anything about fentanyl because his thing,
Right, right, right.
right, his thing wasn't even
Ooh,
getting high like that. He was one of those type of people who wants to be like a follower. Let me just try this and show him I can handle it. And he hits it, boom. He goes out. Someone takes him out the car and sits him down on the ground.
mm,
And when the paramedics got there, they said they don't know how long his brain went without oxygen. By
wow,
the time they got my uncle down to the University of Maryland Hospital, he was brain dead, and my mother kept him on the machine for a year.
wow.
And we had to literally, that was her little brother. We had to literally say, Ma, you have to pull the plug. He's suffering. We go to visit my uncle. He got the size of a grapefruit on his buttocks
Yeah, them
because
beans. Yeah.
they wasn't changing him. And I said, Ma, this man is suffering. You have to pull this plug. He's brain dead. He's not coming back from this. So it affected my mother and everybody because again, to see this, it's like, man, this is real, you
Absolutely.
know?
Absolutely. And it's like, I look at it like, the epidemic in itself, right? Now, we had back in the 70s and stuff, and that just was never my thing though, in all honesty, right? And I'm gonna tell you one of the reasons why I never touched, well, I'm not gonna say I never touched. I can't lie and say I ain't hit a joint or two or whatever. That was about as far as it went, right? And the crazy thing is how I believe God kept his hand on me even back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Some people say that God take care of babies and
Right,
fools. So I guess I was a fool at the time, right? But one of the things was, even though my daddy wasn't in my life, my daddy and my father's side of the family, just a lot of substance abuse users, a lot of addictions, right? And so I was afraid that if I did that, I was an easier target to become addicted because of what was in my bloodline. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I never messed
right,
with the stuff, right? Um, but at the end of the day, when you look back, like in the 70s and stuff, yeah, you had weed, and you might have had a couple of folk that did coke, right? But it
right.
wasn't a big thing. It was just the weed. Get you a nickel bag, get you some top paper, get you some
Mhm.
strawberry paper, get you some sass, you know what I'm saying? And had the munchies all night and be tripping or whatever. But it wasn't as bad as it is now. And what I believe is, check this out, because so many people was on the weed thing. I believe that's a part of why it was legalized, because it's like the government is like, listen, because this is so big, we might as well go ahead and get our cut from it too. But now, because people are moving on, right, we got to start dropping
Mhm.
some heavier and heavier stuff for two reasons. One, we got to annihilate individuals, right?
Right.
And then two, we got to put things in position to cause a problem to act like we're the solution for the problem.
Yeah. For me, like I say, I always when I talk to my brother on topics like this, and I keep telling him, like, bro, you need to get on the mic and talk because you have the experience. Because my brother was sentenced to 28 years with no parole, and he caught his heroin addiction in prison.
No, come on, stop, Tony.
Prison. Yeah,
Not
prison.
behind the bars.
Yeah, you got them female guards and male guards that bring it in. They'll tell you it's a lot of drugs in the joint. And, you know, me saying to him like, bro, look, I never got high, so I don't know what it's like for that craving.
Mm-hmm.
You dealt with heroin for years, and you know what it's like. I mean, my brother to this day, he's been clean now maybe close to 10 years, if not maybe a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Both his legs gone though. Both legs gone.
Wow.
Both legs cut off. And he was saying, man, if I was out there still, I would want that fentanyl. I'm like, why? He
What?
said, yeah, yeah. He would say, because they say if it can do this, I feel like my system is stronger than everybody else's. And
Oh,
when people say, why is it when people OD, everybody runs to that neighborhood to get it?
because
Because
that's the good
everybody
stuff.
think
Yeah.
their system can handle it more than somebody else, and they think that's the good stuff. It won't kill me. It won't hurt me. And then when you see how so many people it's affected to the point where they're giving out Narcan now to be able to fight back, and it's like, what else can we do to tackle this issue? I can't give the solution. I can suggest it, but you got
Absolutely.
to talk to the people who actually been in the trenches, who said, I had to get high every single day. I
Well,
had to get that fix every single day
but Tony,
because
you know
they know
what?
why they need it.
But you know what? Addiction is addiction, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
addiction, the core one of the one of or a major core source of addictive behavior is actually replacing or not dealing with the trigger or the bottom line core issue that or issues that causes you to become addictive, right? Addictive
right,
behaviors are behaviors that allow an individual to escape from their own reality of dealing with whatever it is that they choose not to deal with. You understand what I'm saying? And
right,
so when we look at the drug epidemic and things of that nature, we're looking at a lot of people. And of course, that's my field. You're looking at a lot of people who don't want to be real, who don't want to deal, and who don't want to heal. Right? Because now
mm,
yeah. That's where we at. So it's like, I'm not gonna be real with my situation. I don't want to tackle my trauma. I'm just gonna go get me some weed. I'm not going to deal with my pain. I'm just going to go get me some coke. You know what I'm saying? And again, we talk
right,
about drugs, but again, addiction is addiction. It could be as small as video games, or like we saying, as large as substance or drug abuse. You understand what I'm
right.
saying?
Hmm.
Addictive behaviors are behaviors masking real problems. You know what I'm saying? Or real
Mm,
issues or real trauma. And some people don't have the wherewithal to not, like you said, like I was saying earlier. I had trauma, right? We talk about my molestation, incest, rape, all that stuff, or whatever the case may be. I was an easy prey to go, you know what? I'm gonna start getting high. I'm gonna start. I'm listen. What you one of my songs, my little club songs from Baltimore used to be, I'm gonna dance my pain away. I got problems. Oh, right. Guess what?
yep,
Tony, that was my addiction. I was in the club dancing, not on tabletops, not on poles or nothing like that. But I was in the club getting I
club,
love to dance. That was my addiction, right? So that was
right,
my addictive behavior to mask dealing with whatever I mean, not deal with whatever it was. I'm gonna go get my jam. I'm gonna get my dance. And it's funny because I still dance. I still like to dance. However, I dance now with more joy. I dance with joy. I dance with peace because I'm dancing because I like it, not because I'm trying to not deal with something. Do you understand what I'm saying? But
right.
that's what we got to deal with when we talk about how can we a part of how can we address the epidemic. Let's address the mental health epidemic. Let's deal with the emotional health. Let's deal with let's and I'm just saying this, I'm going all over the place, but it's still here. Let's not call it kissing cousins. Not
Right.
let's not let the boyfriend that we gotta call uncle, which is really crazy because he really sleeping with mama. Let's not let him touch her, right? Let's not let
Right.
our little boys go out here or whatever the case may be and be put in positions that they got to be the man of the house and stuff like that. Let's deal with
Yeah.
that kind of stuff and then we can deal with the drug epidemic because guess what? We will help cure addictive behaviors.
For me, one of my issues is the fact that we're the United States of America. We're supposed to have the best task force. best military, all of these
We
things.
got the best cover ups.
And yet, these drugs are coming in at an alarming rate.
Because we
It's
bringing
like,
them.
are they allowing this?
Yeah.
Are they part of this? Do they want to stop this? Everybody says there's a war on drugs. That was Ronald Reagan's line, but yet we still looking at it's getting worse.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's getting worse and worse.
And honestly, it's because, like you said, if the secure, if COs are letting them in, maybe the border
Uh-huh.
is letting them in. Everybody's
Yeah.
and to a degree. I'm not saying this for real off on absolutes, but everybody has a price that is in that kind of, you know what I'm saying, that's in that
Oh,
world,
absolutely.
right? So all you gotta do is offer the price, right? Now, this the thing to get me too though, Tony. How do you feel about this, right? So I've talked to people who've gone the 12 steps, and I've talked to people who just went cold turkey, right? And
Right.
for me, right, my whole thing is I'm kind of in the middle because it has to be the choice of the individual first and foremost who's willing to be like, you know what, no more, right? I made up in my mind, no more. But for some people, it may take that support because again, we're going back to what caused addictive behavior. So some people may need that extra support to just be like, no, I need to go here through these steps. But I've heard people that then went through 48 steps because they done went 12 step like three times. You know what I'm saying? So to me,
Uh-huh.
that person wasn't willing and ready. But then, like I said, the person who like, look, no, I'm done. I'm done. I'm going through the shivers. I'm going through the body withdrawals. I'm going through whatever it is. And this is going to be enough for me to say, I'm not coming back. I'm not doing it again.
It was like my brother tell me, he says, man, every time I would get locked up, he would be in the cell.
Hmm.
He said, man, I'll be throwing up, shitting all over the place. He said, because I couldn't get the fix. And he said, look, man, we're going to give you something, bro, to try to help you, but that's it. And it's like, you got to try to go cold turkey. And most people can't do that. My mother,
Well,
she
it
went cold
depends.
turkey.
It
My
depends on how
mom
many
didn't go
years
for
you
it.
have it. She did because I'm
Yeah.
saying how much you put into your body. Some people body can't even handle that withdrawal because of how
My
much.
mother went for years. My mother, like I said, I can remember back as young as 12. And moms, we finding needles in the drawer, different men coming in the house getting raided, flashlights in our face, laying in the bed as young boys. And it's like, yeah, and she just went cold turkey one day. Mom's been clean over 15, 20 years now, you
Wow.
know? And my brother, like I said, for him, it was like programming. He was on the methadone and then you
Which
diabetics.
that meth
So
was
it's
another daggone
that was a
addiction.
whole nother addiction, eh? And he was on like 180 milligrams. Like that's a crazy high number.
Mm.
It's like you might as well still be getting high.
That's what it
You
did. It
know,
really replaced the high with a high.
that's all. That's all it did. And then that start messing with your bones, and your bones start rotting and everything. And it's like, what are we doing here? We gonna just mask this? And you think of all the people in the world where they got these drug centers where people go at every day. I'm talking about people that's in corporate America. You see them going to get their met or whatever they got to take to get them through the day so that they don't relapse. And it's
Mm.
like, wow, this person working in corporate America, they got to come here to get this. So, like I tell everybody, no one is excluded.
At
One thing
all.
about the drug game, it has no color. I don't care if you black, blue, white, green, rich, poor. Everyone has been affected. You got kids who family members are billionaires and they getting high as a kite.
Yep.
We saw that with President Biden and his son Hunter. You
Wow.
know,
Yep.
dealing drugs, getting busted, and all this and that, and drugs being found in the White House and all this and that, and so it's like no one is excluded.
Because
This is a serious problem.
it goes back to the mental and emotional health. I'm like, honestly, right? That's really where it comes from. It comes from people utilizing addictive behaviors as tools to escape. And I'm like, and the crazy thing about that though, Tony, is we keep making escaping look okay, right? We're desensitized to stuff. Like, I know this is off a little bit, but just tripping. Yesterday, we were driving and an accident happened, just like maybe 2 or 3 minutes before we got to that area. So we didn't actually see the impact, but we heard it. And then when we got up close enough or whatever, Tony, there was a car flipped over, right? However hit it, how it got hit, it must got hit on the side. It was flipped over. And
Wow.
and here's the thing though, where I'm talking about desensitizing, right? How it's making it easier for people to escape and to, you know what I'm saying, and to not deal with stuff, right? And she didn't mean no harm. She didn't get it. She was my daughter was on the phone talking to her little friend. They both 10 years old, 10, 11 years old. And
Right.
she's like videoing it going, oh my goodness, it's a car flipped over. I can't believe it. Like I'm watching a car. It's a car flipped over. But she's not really, it's tripping her out because she sees this car's flipped over. It wasn't until we got closer to it, like, because we had to go that way, right? And of course, they were beginning to direct the traffic. There were like 4 or 5 men that was trying to flip the car back over. I mean, it was really something. And my baby rode past it and was like, Mimi, there's a kid in there, right?
Wow.
Tony, it was a kid trapped in the car, flipped over. But her friend who's on the other end, and again, like I said, no, I'm not talking about the friend or anything, but the friend was kind of giggling, was like, "Oh my goodness, what the kid look like? What's got on? What they got on?" And it's like because we're now looking or being taught to just see things as a
Hmm.
YouTube or as a IG or a means of just recording. Like we are so detached from
Yep.
people and tragedy and trauma and empathy, right? We either detached from it or using it as a manipulative tool. It's
Yeah.
almost like it's the pendulum is swinging on both sides of the end. I mean, both sides, and not really understanding the balance in the middle. So it
Yep.
leaves people open for the escape mechanism of, yo, I'll just play this video game, smoke me some weed, you know what I'm saying? Just chill, listen to some music. And it's like you have just escaped the whole thing called reality. And I know all of my kids can probably attest to this, boy. I tell you, I was the reality mother. I'm just like, listen, you ain't gonna keep skipping through the tulips with unicorns and rainbows. You need to understand what reality is. And I'm like, I'm not gonna let you live in your fantasy world where you get to twirling or you create your own make-believe. Like, yeah, I'm good on having a vivid imagination, but I'm not good on you creating this whole utopia world and then you step outside because you're not going to be able to handle what the real world gives you if you create your
Absolutely.
own.
Absolutely. Yeah, this, like I say, this drug thing is just, it's crazy. And
Yeah.
you see the footage on social media, or you see it live yourself. You see guys standing on the corner with signs, they trying to get some help, some assistance, and they in a deep nod. They barely can stand up, but they got the sign. They're trying to get money, and it's
I've
like,
seen people, Tony,
like, yeah,
have you seen the videos where people are working like at fast foods and stuff, right?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
working and they nodding, or at the at a
yeah,
at a
yeah.
smorgasbord at the you know what I'm saying, getting food and they nod. And it's like but then also I'm gonna go here before we get ready, like turn this thing out, right? Turn it over. I mean, we also have to get people in, like when we talking about the last days or we talk about zombies and this, that, and another. Honestly, that's the physical appearance of what these individuals on fentanyl look like. They look like zombies.
Yep,
It is. It's
yep,
it's lifeless people. So not the zombies that so much are in the movies or whatever, but if you look at what zombies are or the definition, it's the lifeless people. And this is what we're seeing walking amongst us. Walking, they're like the walking
hmm,
dead for real, right? And so
yep,
we are, again, it's constantly kind of moving people into be able to create to believe certain stuff, like spaceships and aliens and zombies and apocalypse and like it's a bigger agenda with this. It's just beyond let's just give them some fentanyl. It's a whole big picture behind this. You know what I'm saying?
it's so crazy. I'll give you another perspective.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter just turned 10. She goes to school. One of the things I tell her, you do not accept candy from no one
Nobody. Dollar
because
bills either.
here's,
Don't even
uh,
listen, don't
you
even give
know,
me no dollars or nothing
yeah.
because I don't know what
But
it's
I'm
got,
I'm
what's on it.
talking about. Here's the thing: you got parents who got gummies and all this, and the kid get it mixed up and bring it, and then give it
Yeah.
to another kid. Kid eats it, not knowing it's a gummy. They're young, they die, or
Yeah.
they get real sick.
And Tony, on that
Ain't
list,
that
on the
crazy?
fact of that matter, don't be bringing my kid. I have to tell my daughter, her little big back self, don't eat people stuff. I don't care what they. It's potluck my butt. We not potlucking nothing. You ain't
Right.
eating nothing nobody done brought in there. We ain't eating no candy. We not if it ain't pizza that's coming right out the box, and that's a whole nother situation. When y'all have little stuff at school, no, open up that Papa John's box. Nope, open up that Pizza Hut box. Don't be bringing nothing from your house. Talk about we had no, 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 no. Wasn't that something? No, 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 no. Nope, we not having that. We not having that at all. So,
Yeah,
Tony, I just want to tell the people, it is an epidemic. It is what's going on. And no, we may not be able to stop the whole, but we can start with one person at a time. First and foremost, ourselves, right? Listen,
absolutely.
yeah, Tony. Like, I know this sound cliche, but really handle people with love gloves. Really,
Mm,
really, really take the time, right? That if somebody's going through something, you ain't got to be their savior or their help or their therapist or whatever. But like I said, sometimes a smile is the most expensive thing you can give somebody that really helps them. But it still don't cost you nothing, right? A smile,
yep.
a kind word, because you don't know what people are going through. And then at the same token, I know it's challenging, right? But that family member or that neighbor that does have that substance abuse problem, I promise you, if you show them some love, if you show them some respect, those are things that help combat the stuff that they're challenged with that's causing addictive behaviors from the jump. Right? Stop knocking
Right.
people. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what they're going through. You only see the outward layers. It's like the tip of an iceberg. You only see what's on the top, right? But stop
Yep.
dismissing them. And for that family member, listen, I'm gonna just keep it 100. No, I'm not saying keep them in a house while they stealing stuff and stuff like that or whatever the case may be. You still got to take care of you. But please just keep letting that person know I love you. You got this. Like you can come out of this. Like, right? Give them the positive affirmations. Give them the encouragement that even in the midst of this, don't give them that, that you messed up, you always gonna be messed up, this, that, that. No, give them something positive. You just don't know how impactful a positive word, how far it goes. You just don't realize it
Hmm.
really goes deep.
Yep.
Really goes deep. Well, Tony, we on to another one. It's always good stuff because it's so much, like I said, it's so much happening, so much going on, y'all. So, keep tuned
Yes.
in, share it. We're gonna start putting this on YouTube so you can start checking out some faces and actually getting the replay. And if you missed the show, you can go back and get it and share it and all that stuff. And again, hit us up. Let us know how we doing or what you want to talk about or what you want to hear. What's going on that we might be missing. We only two set of eyes, two set of ears. We don't know what's all out there, but we willing to talk about it. It's that TNT time on the Unbox Daily Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. every Monday through Friday Eastern Standard Time. So we want you to tune in and listen. We got conversations next with a guest. Of course, we got that Facts of the Matter coming up. And as always, good music 24/7. That part and say that.